here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, that is right. You are listening to the home of conservative, not bitter. My, oh my, could the world use a little bit more not bitter anything today. Bitter divide across this great nation. You've tuned into the right place if you want to see healing and restoration in this country, but you also want to see the right side win this battle that we're in, the right side of this political battle that's raging in this nation. You want to see a return to constitutional conservatism. Maybe you don't know yet. Maybe you're new to this political discussion. Maybe you've not been following things closely for a long time. Maybe you've realized that there's no such way to really go through life without paying attention to politics. It is, well, the way in which we're going to live on this side of heaven. And so you've thought, some bad things. You've been told some bad things about conservatism, and maybe you're thinking, you know what? I don't think that that's right. I don't think that all conservatives hate all women and children and black Americans and minorities. And so I just want to tune in and hear for ourselves. You tune into the right place. This is radio's safe space, or you could say YouTube's safe space. If you're watching on YouTube, it's good to be here. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube as well. Hour number 1, by the way, is on Facebook. You can check us out on facebook.com/Todd Huff Show. And again, we're continuing to make improvements. We may put both hours in the not too distant future, both hours on both channels, Facebook and YouTube, working through some of that stuff now. We'll see. That's coming, hopefully, in the not too distant future as we continue to grow, expand our reach, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you, no matter where you're listening. Radio, Freedom 95 in Indianapolis, whether that's on YouTube, Facebook, as a podcast. It's good to be here. Thank you for joining us. At the end of last hour, so this is hour 2, which I just kind of alluded to there. But at the end of last hour, I played a soundbite from one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter. I need to set this up again because some of you may not have heard last hour. Shame on you, by the way. But some of you may not have heard last hour, so I want to give you a little bit of reference as to what we're talking about here. So we talked a little bit about Chaz last hour. The great empire of Chaz has fallen in Seattle. Now they're trying to create BHAZ, or who knows how they pronounce that, in D.C., out in front of the White House, Lafayette Park. I think they're calling it the Black House Autonomous Zone. Now that's, so far, I don't believe has succeeded, but maybe it has. Who knows? It's D.C. It's D.C., a bunch of liberals, radical leftists running that city. I'm sure that they'll find a way to capitulate here and to give in as well. But so the great empire of Chaz has fallen after just a little over 300 hours, which I find highly entertaining. These folks come in, their movement wants to establish a new real political system in this nation, and their system can't even eclipse the 350-hour mark, folks. It's not even 2 weeks ago. Just think about this. What were you doing 2 weeks ago? You might have planted a plant, thrown down some grass seed a couple weeks ago that's just now starting to pop up. Chaz couldn't even last that long. Anyway, so we've got this ideological war, and I mentioned that there's a lot of different people involved, a lot of different groups. Now they've kind of taken the mindset that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or in this particular, I guess you could say, they share a mutual enemy in that they're enemies of the United States of America and how we were founded in the Constitution and freedom and liberty. And so even though you have anarchists who hate America and you have communists, Marxists who hate America, you have lots of people who hate America. And a lot of those people, unfortunately, are American, which always perplexes me. You ever notice that the reason we have so much time and so much opportunity to be offended at everything. And I'm not saying there's not real grievances. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not putting George Floyd into this, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about all the little things that we've since been offended by. For example, one of the early leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement is a guy by the name of Shaun King. Shaun King is one of the early leaders. He's out there calling for, I don't know if you know this, Oz, I don't know if you know this, but we're going to be taking down the statues of Jesus now, the statues of white Jesus, because that's clearly a sign of oppression because Jesus wasn't white. I don't know what he's referring to when he says white statues. I mean, I thought statues were the color of statues, right? I mean, statues are made out of whatever material these things are made out of, but they're not. The ones I'm thinking of are not, I'm thinking of like the Lincoln Memorial. That's not a color. I mean, it is a color, but it's not the color of Abraham Lincoln. I'm thinking of the Jefferson Memorial. Now, that one is, if memory serves me right, that one's, I think that one might be white, but not white skinned. It's just a white. It's all white, I believe, or a lighter color maybe of marble or something. Some are black. The Vietnam Memorial, while not a person, is a black wall. But I don't think the creator's intention was to have anything to do with race. It's just the color that they chose for that particular memorial. I'm thinking of the Korean Memorial in Washington, D.C. Those soldiers were not a particular color. I don't know what Shaun King is talking about. Of course, that doesn't make anything new. I mean, these radical leftists, it's hard to follow them half the time. But anyway, so we've gotten into the even crazier, more craziness with where we've seen this thing move in recent days and weeks and so forth. Where folks really, I mean, at the core of this is the dismantling of the American foundations. That's what's really at the core of this. Now, again, you have to be careful because I'm not saying that all of the foundations of America were good, because slavery clearly was not. Slavery was reprehensible, is evil, and we've moved past that, and the United States has fixed it. We've fixed it. Now, there's still obviously, there's been repercussions stemming back to slavery with regard to race relations. That didn't change overnight. And I'm not suggesting there's no racists. I'm simply saying institutionally, systemically, there are no problems anymore as it pertains to that. There may be individual racists, absolutely. There may be individual racist police officers, absolutely. But may I add that there's individual racists that are out there in any group, including Black Lives Matter, by the way. Can't say that. I'm not saying that they all are. That's not what I said. But what I am saying is that racists exist in all groups, and racists can be all colors. In fact, I've been told that blacks can't be racist. Only whites can be racist. I read this nonsense from time to time. It's just silliness. You know, it's like when someone does something wrong, when, say, whites are racist against blacks, the solution isn't now for blacks to be racist against whites. The solution is for the whites to stop being racist against blacks. And just in that example, right? That's the solution. We shouldn't swing back the pendulum to where it's wrong on the other side to try to atone for the racism that was exhibited by whites. What the world is that? That's not good. Let's just get to what's right. However we get there, let's just get there. Let's get there and agree on what's acceptable and what's not. And let's settle in that acceptable zone. Let's not swing back to atone for, to balance out, or to counteract this or that or the other. Let's just be good. How about that? But anyway, so I mentioned that this is an ideological battle. And I mentioned that they're even now admitting at Black Lives Matter that the framework, the ideological framework for the Black Lives Matter movement is actually Marxism. That's the framework of this ideology. They admit it. One of the founders, again, there's 3 founders, all black women: Alicia Garza, Patrisse Cullors, Opal Tometi. And again, if I'm mispronouncing those, I've only read the names. I've not heard the names actually spoken. That's what I'm reading here. The three women that are listed as founders or co-founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. Two of them, one of them was in an interview, and she said that one of the others, Alicia Garza, was a trained Marxist. I want to play this because this will serve as part of the framework for our conversation moving forward. This is Patrisse Cullors being interviewed. And again, I don't have the name of the guy interviewing her or the show that she's on. This is just a sound bite, about a 30-second sound bite, where she admits that the foundational ideology, the framework within which the Black Lives Matter movement operates is Marxist. Remember this the next time someone asks you if you support the Black Lives Matter movement. Here you go.
I also think that it might, I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories. And I think that what we really try to do is build a movement that could be utilized by many, many Black folk.
I think the name of this is The Real News. TheRealNews.com. I don't know. I'm just trying to give credit here. I'm just trying to share this information with you. They're trained Marxists. You notice something else, a word that she threw in there. They're trained organizers. This takes me back to the days of Barack Obama, president of the United States, 2009 to 2017. Elected, of course, in 2008 and 2012. He was a community organizer, remember? And some people questioned this back at the time, saying things like he's never had a real job. What's this guy, what does it even mean to be a community organizer? Now we know it's to organize for Marxism. At least it means that for Patrisse Cullors here, one of the founders of Black Lives Matter, and the other, one of the others, Alicia Garza. So 2/3 of the Black Lives Matter movement are on record through the statement they're given by Patrisse Cullors. They're on record as being trained Marxists. So when someone asks you, do you support the Black Lives Matter movement? We have to understand what's going on. They've created a political insulation. You can't criticize this group. If you criticize this group, then you want, in their words, you want more Black Americans to die, which of course is a completely false choice. And we can't even get to the ideological framework of this, because it involves race, and white people need to shut up, as many have been told. We don't have anything to say about this issue of race, which I find preposterous. I mean, I'm not suggesting I understand all that is involved with being Black, but, no one who's not white doesn't understand that. We're all different. We have to quit this. We have to stop this nonsense. But they've created a politically insulated wall, or a politically insulated, blanket of security, by saying you can't criticize. Meanwhile, they're openly admitting that they are trained Marxists, communist folks. These are, it's not funny, but it's crazy that we can't criticize an ideology that was responsible. You want to talk about an ideology here, something that's problematic and troubling? Check out the nearly 100 million people, some would say more than 100 million people, who were killed by big government, mainly communism, in the 20th century. The 1900s, if a millennial's tuning in, take it easy, I'm just kidding. 20th century saw the deaths of over 100 million people at the hands of their government, unjustifiable murder for disagreeing with them, for having the audacity to choose to worship God. There's stories upon story upon story of this that you can find in places like, they're all over the place, but you can find the Christian stories in things like Fox's Book of Martyrs, for example, or another book called Jesus Freaks, where communists were killing Christians or putting them in gulags. Not just Christians, all different types. People that were not acceptable to the government for whatever reason, those who spoke out against the leadership, or who knows, these radical tyrants could throw you in the gulags or torture you because they wanted your wife, or just take your pick. These are atrocious, crazy, evil people that were communist leaders in the 20th century, and those that still exist today, same thing. The ideology is still morally bankrupt, is reprehensible and evil. And that's the framework of Black Lives Matter. So when Colin Kaepernick is going to, we're going to talk about that next. Colin Kaepernick is going to get his own, what is it, some wing or some display at the Museum for African American History, I believe. I got to get the name right. I got to look and see what that is exactly so that I can properly describe this next segment. But whenever we realize that, Kaepernick, who's now lifted up as a hero, hailed as a hero through all this, he's the one that's openly accepting these communists that killed people. Shea and Fidel. He thinks that that's great stuff. They were a murderous dictator regime. That's what they were. That's what it still is today in Cuba. We don't even pay attention to that. We're going to put a wing up or a display up for Colin Kaepernick. Crazy stuff, and I've got to take a break. Sit tight. We'll continue this in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items, at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Our partner, Global Plasma Solutions, has published ionization testing results that demonstrate a 99.4% reduction rate on a SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 surface strain within 30 minutes. This is the first instance that an air purification company has effectively neutralized SARS-CoV-2. Commercial Service Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is installing this solution in businesses and homes in South Central Indiana. Get your free information kit at commercialservice.com/info. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
All right, here we go. $100 down, $100 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Welcome back. Having a hard time. I've thought I had that article pulled up. The article pulled up where Kaepernick is going to get, I forget what it was. I read this yesterday. A display at some museum. I'm trying to find it. Instead, I'm looking at an article where Brett Favre compares Colin Kaepernick to Pat Tillman. You remember Pat Tillman? Pat Tillman, former NFL. I believe he played safety. I believe he played in college at Arizona State. I could be wrong about that, but he played for the Arizona Cardinals. Heck, they might have been Phoenix Cardinals back then. But he quit his job in the NFL, enlisted, went to Ranger School, became a U.S. Army Ranger, and was deployed in the Middle East. And after 9/11, right? So he saw the trade towers get attacked. He saw the Pentagon. He saw all that stuff, and he said, "I'm going to go fight against this ideology, this radical ideology that's targeting Americans. I am going to go fight." Pat Tillman says, and so he does, and he's killed while serving his nation. He's killed while serving his nation, defending America from the terrorists, right? So Brett Favre being interviewed by TMZ Sports was asked about his thoughts on Kaepernick reaching the Hall of Fame and the status of Jackie Robinson or Muhammad Ali for his activism and football talent. And this is what Favre says: "Boy, I suppose that he's helped his cause tremendously and is deserving much praise and respect. Because it's not easy for a guy his age, black or white, Hispanic, whatever, to stop something you've always dreamed of doing and put it on hold, maybe forever, for something that you believe in." Right? So in other words, Kaepernick put his football career on hold because he's standing up for the Marxist movement. I mean, that's what they've told me of the Black Lives Matter. The core, the leadership of Black Lives Matter are Marxists. That's their framework, and that's their ideology. That's what they've told us. That's what they've told us. So that should be troubling. That should be troubling even to those who are, out there marching in protest, holding up the Black Lives Matter message, simply by saying, "Hey, we want to see these deaths of young black men in particular, but black Americans at the hands of law enforcement. We want to see an end to that, or a dramatic decrease in that. We want to see this changed." A lot of people who agree with that, I would think, would have a problem with the founders, the leaders of this movement, saying that their movement is fundamentally Marxist. It's what they've said. That's the framework. That's the ideological framework within which Black Lives Matter operates. Marxism. I think there's a lot of people on this, that have protested that might be completely shocked and troubled by this. I hope that they are. Anyway, so Brett Favre continues. So that's the message. Kaepernick, successful quarterback, can't stand it anymore. Can't stand it. They're playing the national anthem at the football game. He's got to take a knee. And the rest of us are stupid because we look at that and say that's disrespectful to America and to the flag and to those who fought for the flag and so forth. We're not allowed to have that opinion. We're too stupid to understand how sophisticated his protest is. And I always think that that's the job of the protester to tell us. I mean, you got people's attention, explain, articulate now. It's just that people don't like with that action being taken towards their flag. I don't know what's so hard to. They understand this, but they want to. Again, they don't like to be. They refuse to be bullied by the narrative. That's their job. Their job is to use the narrative and things like race to silence those of us who disagree with the ideology. We don't do that. We don't do that. In fact, I would love to have just an open discussion on Marxism. Give me a break. They can't be serious. Now they're openly proclaiming this. But anyway, Favre continues, right? That we're supposed to believe Kaepernick, just the successful guy, goes out there, can't take it anymore, sacrifices his career for this cause and this movement, which, by the way, is now fundamentally, it's acknowledged by the movement, fundamentally Marxist. So Brett Favre continues. I can only think of, right off the top of my head, Pat Tillman as another guy who did something, similar, and we regard him as a hero. So I assume that hero status will be stamped with Kaepernick as well. My, oh my. Hero. Kaepernick is a hero? A hero for embracing an organization that's admittedly now Marxist in its framework. Again, we have to be careful here because I'm not suggesting that anyone who holds up a sign for Black Lives Matter even remotely knows this, right? And I'm not suggesting that. But that's the stated intentions. That matters. Intention matters a whole lot, folks. That's what they're seeking to do, is to advance Marxist ideology in this nation. This should be rejected wholeheartedly by people of all races, of all religions, of all education levels. This is reprehensible. Marxism is, you talk about an ideology that's the scourge of the earth, welcome Marxism. That's it. Marxism killed millions of people. Over 100, it's estimated, 100 million people in the 20th century. We're supposed to applaud this or ignore this, not pay attention to this? You can say, yes, I agree with the statement Black Lives Matter. I also agree with the statement All Lives Matter. I also think slavery is reprehensible and wicked and evil and should never be allowed to happen. It should not have been allowed to happen in the formation of this country. Although that was, they were forced with decisions or stuck with realities back then. And that's what it took to get everyone on board. I'm not excusing it, but that's the reality then. Terrible though it may be, and we live with the consequences of that today. You wish they would have fought to find another way to form the union, but they did not. And that's not what we have. That wasn't what we were founded upon. We had that tremendous stain on America's history. Atrocious things. But there's a lot of good that the founders came up with as well. Didn't come up with, they recognized as the natural order of things, the way that God created us to live. And now all people of all races, backgrounds, what have you, can embrace these same freedoms, can have these freedoms because they acknowledged those freedoms and those fundamental truths. And so you can say, on the one hand, that Black Lives Matter, that all lives matter, that law enforcement should work within the confines of what is obviously legal and justifiable. They should be able to protect themselves when needed, but they also should not use excessive force. And in cases where they've used excessive force or, God forbid, unjustifiable deadly force, that they're held accountable, no matter what the race, gender, ethnicity, or any other descriptor of the individual the victim is. You ought to be able to say all those things and still say the ideology of that movement of Black Lives Matter has killed more people than anything I can think of off the top of my head. The single cause, ideologically, the single greatest cause for death and destruction and despair and poverty is Marxism. And they've embraced that. And that needs to be, they need to be exposed for that, and they need to be systematically, decimated in a debate sense for embracing this reprehensible ideology. Anyway, got to take a time out. I'm going to shift gears when we get back. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We've found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
Outside of the federal government, no one likes losing money. Any amount of money, not just the $6 billion the State Department lost. And what makes losing money worse is knowing that we could have done something to stop it. Well, if you have an inefficient furnace, a toilet that won't stop running, or a leaky faucet, you can do something about it. You can call the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Call 317-831-5279 or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
I love my community, and I wanted to do more to make a difference with my hard-earned dollars. I wanted to make an impact and help shape our future and our county. So I gave money to the Community Foundation of Morgan County. More than just charitable giving, the money I donate is tracked and measured so every dollar is held accountable. It's a social return on your investment. Why don't you join me in donating at cfmconline.org? That's cfmconline.org. Philanthropy with measurable impact.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Well, I cannot find that article on Kaepernick. And I see that he has had a display or something at the African American History Museum, or maybe even, a couple of stories on that back from 2017, but I just saw one yesterday, so I thought that there was something else. Maybe I'm wrong, but it still holds true what I'm saying. We've honored someone. In the case of Colin Kaepernick, right? We're honoring him collectively. We have businesses around the country putting up signs, Black Lives Matter, which again, Black lives do matter. I'm not questioning that. But this is part of the problem. We've conflated a lot of things because the movement itself is fundamentally, as the founders have told us, is fundamentally Marxist. But this is what these, you go back to, even back to the days of Hitler, or to the days of, Stalin, and the propaganda, right? The way that they controlled the messaging, the way that they lured you in to where you felt like it was the right thing, or so sometimes they would trick you into believing it's the right thing. Sometimes they would build such a strong case that what they were doing was good and, praiseworthy, that you couldn't really stand against it. And so it's one of the techniques and tactics that are often used. And so if this is, as they claim, a Marxist ideology, a Marxist movement, they have insulated themselves from any criticism here, because in order to criticize Marxism, you have to be prepared to say, I don't agree with the movement of Black Lives Matter, which may get you stoned in today's world immediately. No call for a fair trial, none of that. You just you can't be against these things. But you have to understand what we're against. We're against, on this program, Marxism, communism. We're for freedom of all people. No matter what some tell us, simply by telling us that they are in favor of things doesn't mean that they really are, and that there's more to the story in many cases. And when you say you're Marxist, and you're a trained Marxist, and you're a trained organizer, then that tells me your movement is about that very thing. Your movement is about the concept of Marxism, the ideology. And you're looking for a vehicle by which you can promote it. And that should be concerning for all Americans. I got to take a break here again. I've gotten a little bit off track. Oz is doing her job here. I have just gotten a little bit long-winded, especially last segment. But I want to shift gears slightly. I referenced this earlier. One of the early leaders in the Black Lives Matter movement, Shaun King is telling us that statues of Jesus are a form of, yes, you guessed it, white supremacy. And those need to come down next. We're watching the systematic destruction of the United States of America, its history. And now we're wanting to see, some of these folks want to see more. They want to see more. They don't want to have a debate about it. In fact, they're happy to have the mob go out and just start ripping these statues down. I mean, this is getting dangerous. It really is. You start taking down statues of the founder of a religion. In the case of Jesus, founder of Christianity, right? God in the flesh, Savior for Christians. Tear down those statues. White supremacy. I'll explain as much as that is possible in this deranged, broken worldview here Shaun King has. But I'll explain that when we get back. You are listening to Conservative, Not Bitter Talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
Are you an electrician, plumber, or handyman looking for an 8-to-5 job that pays you what you're worth? Copper Ridge Home Services wants you. Our veteran-owned family business offers holiday pay, weekends off, and on-site training for entry-level positions. Our team is growing, so if you have a can-do attitude, we want you to be part of that growth. Ready for a change? Give Copper Ridge a call at 317-839-6100. That's 317-839-6100. Copper Ridge Home Services. We value your time.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 back at $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegieAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegee, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegieAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
Welcome back. So Sean King, one of the original leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement, which incidentally I should point out that he's kind of fallen out of good graces with the Black Lives Matter movement because they said they questioned his race. They've questioned his race. In fact, let me read this part of the story just to give you an idea. So he was one of the leading voices. In fact, you may have seen him before on television or what have you, but he was a leading voice in the Black Lives Matter movement. But as the Fox News article points out, it fell from grace when his race was questioned and he was accused of being a Caucasian, falsely portraying himself as black, conjuring up memories of Rachel Dolezal. He responded in 2015 with this statement: I have been told for most of my life that the white man on my birth certificate is not my biological father, and that my actual biological father is a light-skinned black man. My mother and I have discussed her affair. She was a young woman in a bad relationship, and I have no judgment. I mean, this is where we've come. You can only apparently be a part of Black Lives Matter, at least in a leadership role, if you are black. I guess, I don't know if Biden's over there. Is Biden determining who's black enough? I don't know. You ain't black if you don't have, I mean, how far back would Biden make us go genealogically to prove someone's black enough to be a leader of Black Lives Matter? This is just nonsense where we've gotten ourselves. But I want to read you this tweet, two tweets that he sent out yesterday, he being Sean King. It says this: yes, I think the statues of the white European they claim is Jesus should also come down. They are a form of white supremacy, always have been. In the Bible, when the family of Jesus wanted to hide and blend in, guess where they went? Egypt, all capital letters, exclamation point, not Denmark. Tear them down. That's the first tweet. It sounds like a guy. This sounds like a fun guy that you'd want to hang out with and have a couple of beers with. Second tweet: yes, all murals. So not just statues, folks. Murals. All murals and stained glass windows of white Jesus and his European mother and their white friends should also come down. They are a gross form of white supremacy, created as tools of oppression, racist propaganda. They should all come down. So if your church, maybe it has a portrait of Jesus and it's white, needs to come down. Look, Jesus was of Middle Eastern descent, folks. I mean, this is really indisputable, right? In another sense, being that he was God, he's not defined by any race. And that's kind of the point here. The point is that he came for all humanity. He didn't just come for people who looked like him. It says he came first for the Jew, then for the Gentile, but he came for every single human being on this planet. Every single one. And all they want to talk about is his race. And it's a form of white supremacy to have a statue up of Jesus. I need to find, I don't know where these statues are. Maybe they exist. These statues that are painted white. I understand the stained glass thing. I don't understand, demanding that it comes down. I mean, again, if we've created a society where we can literally get so worked up about this, then we've got a prosperous society on our hands. If this is how people can spend their time. But to say that, I don't know even what the white statue of Jesus. Maybe they exist. I'm just thinking of the statues I've seen like in public parks. I guess I've seen some of the smaller ceramic type figurines that are painted, but I'm thinking statues, and I don't even know. Where are the statues? I'm drawing a blank. I'm thinking of the statues I've seen are usually, war memorials or statues of important people to a city or to our nation, founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, for example. My wife went to Franklin College. They've got a Benjamin Franklin statue. It's not painted white, is it? Is Benjamin Franklin statue? I think it's the typical statue material, whatever that even is. I'm not sure if I could even tell you offhand, but what's this guy talking about? It's just rabid, insane stuff. And when you look at these comments through the lens of what we've been talking about earlier, which is this is a Marxist framework. Black Lives Matter has a Marxist framework. Then suddenly this stuff makes perfect sense. They want to dismantle anything that has to do with Western civilization, with the American experiment, the great nation of America, Judeo-Christian principles and foundations, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, the other founding fathers. They want that eradicated, gone, poof. Not sure what Oz is doing over there, but I've got to take a break. Statues of Jesus need to come down because that's white oppression. That's a clear propaganda and oppression. Need to come down. Tear them down. Tear them all down. Burn this thing to the ground. We see what happens when they're in control. They can't even last for 300 hours in the nation of Chaz. The empire collapsed in just a few hundred hours. So, got to take a time out. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Indy Decorative Concrete is hiring immediately. They're looking for workers with experience finishing concrete. Pay is $25 to $30 per hour with weekly overtime. All jobs are located within the city of Indianapolis. Call 317-784-1464 or apply in person at their offices located at 8366 Brookville Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46239. They're open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, visit their website, www.indydecorativeconcrete.com. www.indydecorativeconcrete.com.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45 years' experience in asphalt, concrete, and seal coating. At Wallace Construction, our wide variety of experience and top-notch customer service have helped us build a strong reputation in central Indiana. But we don't rest on that reputation. We build it, one job at a time. If you have an upcoming project, call us at 317-422-5356. That's Wallace Construction, 317-422-5356, and ask for Richard or Roger.
Hi, my name is John Swadner, Sales Director of the Todd Huff Show. As a listener of the program, you know the show is growing. 4 years ago, it began as a podcast in a closet. Today, it's a 2-hour show that airs during morning drive in Indy and in Utah, and we're just scratching the surface. Todd brought me on board to help the show and our advertisers grow. That's why I'm specifically looking for partners who are a good fit to advertise with us. Would that be you? To learn more about what advertising would look like and to determine if it's a good fit for your business, shoot me an email to john@toddhuffshow.com. And be sure to ask me about some of our special packages that will save you up to 40%. Email john@toddhuffshow.com. Shoot me an email today.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804.
Welcome back. They're even mocking conservatives now who say that statues of Jesus are next. They're telling us the statues of Jesus are next. In fact, I read something the other day. Back in 2000, whenever it was, Trump said next they're going to come for statues of the founding fathers, not just Confederate generals or whatever, and Trump was mocked at the time. Of course, that's now what they're doing as well, but then again, facts don't seem to matter to a lot of these folks. But the madness continues here. We've got a battle on our hands. It's ideological, and I'll tell you what else. It's also It's not just ideological, it's a condition of the heart. Some of these folks want disorder and lawlessness. They want darkness. And they're deceitful. I've got to go. SDG. See you tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Take care.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, President of Workforce